Hey everybody. My guest for the interview today, where I'm playing with a new format, is Willie Hunter, a very funny, awesome comedian from California, originally from Alabama. In this episode, we talk about a lot of interesting stuff, including Google and how weird online dating is, and comedy. You can catch this guy on the Kill Tony Show. Awesome podcast. Also, you can find his show, The Will Hunter Show. You can find that on YouTube. At any point in this video, click the little icon I put above his face, and you can go to his YouTube channel. Follow him on Twitter at Will Hunter Show, and let's get right into this. I saw that one episode of you on Kill Tony where you were talking about your first joke. Did it have to do with pizza or something, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Yeah, I think it was something like that. I said one of my friends. I asked him, "Do you want to buy what size pizza do you want, a medium or a large?" And he said, "Large. It's more slices." I said, "You idiot! It's a circle. You can make as many slices as you want."
Now, did you expect laughs? Like, did you expect?
No, I didn't. It was just for me.
Oh man! Like, when was your first bomb that you that really affected you? Like, I have to get over this and do this again. Like.
It was the second time I went up. I was talking about this last night, actually. The first time I went up, could not have been set up better. It was a packed show. You know, it was great. I didn't even tell any jokes. I just went up there and winged it. So I thought, oh, I can kill comedy now. I've got this down pat. And then the second time I went up, same mic, there was only 6 people there. And they didn't even turn down the house lights.
Oh.
And 3 of the people there were my friends. And I've never brought anyone to my show since. And I ate it. It's the worst I've ever had in my entire life.
How long was it?
It was the only time where I wished that I would have gotten off stage as soon as I went on.
Was it like 5 minutes, 10, or like what?
Yeah, it was 5 minutes, but it seemed like an eternity.
That seems like a long time. I mean, a minute doesn't seem like a long time, but like I recently started watching Kill Tony, and like you guys are great on there, but like 60 seconds it's a long time. Like I feel the open micers sort of like fumbling through and like trying to get to that 60 seconds. Like some of them, I think most of them seem to rush through their material and it only ends up being like 30 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, man, it's like it's nervousness, be put on the spot like that. I don't even know how they do it. I thought about putting my name, and I'm gonna do it too in one of those episodes. You're gonna see me.
Oh, you're just gonna go up.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
I was thinking about like what would happen.
But I'm not gonna tell Tony. I'm just gonna put my name in a hat, and if he happens to call my name,
just go in there.
Yeah.
Like, what if like Chris Rock or something walked in? Like, you guys like would you be as willing to like criticize him on stuff that didn't work in his 1 minute?
No, God no. God no.
Like, you just take out the whole bit, like just.
No, it's almost like, great job, Chris. Great job. I like what you're working on.
That has to be tough. I mean, do you think about what do you think it's like to be a Louie CK and you're trying to work out on new material? But like, do you think does a comic get to some point where they get laughs for being them?
Well, yeah, I think you get to a point where you're funny just being yourself, and your jokes becomes like your utility belt.
Oh man.
You don't rely on your jokes as much because you are funny, But your jokes are you make your living off your jokes, but it doesn't necessarily you don't need them. So when CK goes up there and he tries the material, he'll throw out his personality, and it'll get a laugh in between him working out material. So when you do it for a while, you know how to make it look like you had a good set. Even though you're working out some stuff.
Oh man. So Dave
Chappelle does that a lot. He'll go up there, even though he'll go up there for about 4 hours, and he'll fumble through some material, but he won't let you know he's trying out material. He'll just be talking to you, and then he'll throw out a premise. And you think he's I'm sorry. What?
No, is it like at the master level? I mean, I guess we could just call it that. At the master level, you're saying that jokes are like sort of indistinguishable from who a person is. It's just like everything they do on stage is just like they know how to.
Yeah, it's like Larry David, like Larry David's Larry David everywhere. Bill Burr is the same way. Like he can now just take anything and put his Bill Burr perspective on it, and it gets an instant laugh. That's what you want to get. You want to get your own perspective to where you can say and talk about anything, and it's genuine to who you are. That's what the crowd likes, and that's what you strive for. At least that's what I strive for.
Do you remember any like defining moments where you like did you who were you? Do you feel like you were doing anybody when when you first started? Like you were just
Oh
like
yeah. Um,
who were you? Like I assume you were a combination of people, or was there like one person you focused on trying to be?
Man, it was a combination of a lot of people. David Letterman is a huge influence on me, so
Yeah.
you'll see me. I kind of drag my words and do that laugh and stuff. Dave Chappelle, of course, like how casual he talks sometimes, it just drives things out. And Jerry Seinfeld, because I like the way his joke structure.
Mm.
So those three people I have to catch myself, and then also my peers, the people that you kind of go up with. Like I find myself sometimes doing a Brody Stevens,
Yeah.
or Ari Shaffir is a guy that I really idolized when I first started. Like I find myself mimicking him sometimes, so I have to whoa, I got to back up. I'm watching too much Ari now that I'm actually becoming him.
Oh man.
So it's more peers than famous people. It's the people you kind of look up to that are not really huge yet.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ari Shaffir was one, Brody, my friend Jerrod Carmichael,
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah. He's
I
funny.
kind of like sometimes you catch yourself kind of doing them just because you're just such a fan, and you end up just just not purposely doing them, but just by nature.
Is it scary trying to dig into the stuff that's quintessentially you that no one else has? Because I know in visual art, music, and stuff like that, to try and venture off into this area where you're trying to be authentically you. It's sort of, but like I said, it's kind of uncharted, or no one's really done it. So is that ever scary for you as a comic to try and say like I'm doing this thing that's like it's just a combination of everything I am that no one else has?
Yeah, it's very difficult because, well, for a comic and probably musicians too, you have to be kind of like poetic about what you say because you can't talk about it. Like I have some stuff like family stuff, but I would love to tell on stage, but it's not. I can't tell it because how will my family members feel about it?
Oh yeah.
So you have to find a way to where you can sneak in the truth with some sort of fantasy. So that's the hard part and that's the fun part. But whenever I have stuff I want to work out on, I always do that late night spots. When I go up at 1 a.m. and I got like 4 drunk people, and I'm like, well, I can get away with some stuff now.
Is that the prime workout crowd then?
Yeah, that's the prime. Like people don't realize those late nights like that. You get to talk about anything.
Oh.
You can cross any boundary. It makes you a stronger comic too, because if you can make some people laugh and some honest shit, you're like, oh man, I can make a huge room of people just collapse out of their chairs in laughter. So those late night sets are huge.
Did you do your first sets like the pizza joke? Was that done in Alabama where you grew up, or did you do that when you moved to Cali?
That was all when I moved out here. I only went up twice before I moved to LA.
Was the scene that shitty there?
Yeah. I was
man.
I was telling someone last night. I said I went up twice, and they don't develop talent in Alabama. I had to drive an hour, west for this open mic, and they only do it once every 3 months. And like I said, I went up first time and I did well. The second time I bombed, and then I was like, well, if I'm going to really take this serious, I got to go to New York or LA, and I chose LA. And I've been out here since. That was back in 2008, I think. Yeah, 2008.
Now, I'm fascinated by moments when people decide to ditch everything and change their life. But I mean, because it's just beyond me trying to. Did you drop out of college?
I dropped out of college.
Because I saw you tweet something about that, but you tweet a lot of ridiculous stuff, so I don't know what's real or not usually.
Yeah, some people tell me that, and I tell them, well, all of it's almost real.
Oh wow!
Even the strange stuff. That's what I think.
What were you majoring in?
I was going to be a high school math teacher.
Whoa, you're a math guy.
Yeah, I'm a math guy, and the reason why I dropped out, besides of course the grades, was that I noticed that I was in my classes. I was in with a bunch of engineering people. Like we were taking the same math classes.
Yeah.
And it pissed me off a little bit. I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to be a teacher. You guys are going to be engineers. You're going to make way more money than me, and we essentially have the same degree. That's not fair. So I was like, ugh. And plus, I realized I didn't really like kids. So.
Did you ever get around to any of the student teaching stuff?
I was an assistant coach because I was also going to be a basketball coach.
The basketball combination math teacher.
Hey, I went to Coach K's coaching camp at Duke University.
I don't know anything about sports.
You don't know anything about sports?
No.
It is the Coach Krzyzewski, that's his name, is the biggest college. He's probably the greatest college basketball coach of all time. I'm even including John Wooden. And I went to one of his coaching camps when I think I was still in college at the time.
And they teach you how to coach?
Yeah, it teaches how to coach and how to talk to student athletes or whatever. So I also assistant coach like junior high basketball. So I was around kids, but I wasn't like in the student. I was just on like the athletic side. And I could not do that. Parents. That's the reason why you couldn't do that.
So that's so if it was one of those situations like you can hit them with a ruler, you can do it, you can yell at them, all that stuff.
Oh God, I would love it. They need to give the rights back to the teachers.
I know we joke about this all the time about how great it was when teachers would be able to rap you on the knuckles with the ruler. I know that there are positives and negatives to all these systems, but I wonder like how that would really change things if kids would like be able to learn discipline and sort of like what it's like to be punished from people other than their
punishment.
parents.
That's basically what it is. It's not even like discipline. It's punishment. Is fear. Like a lot of kids have no fear, which is what you want, but also there needs to be some sort of fear so you can actually become a better person.
Yeah.
But kids are like reckless now. It's crazy.
See, I don't know like how much fear is too much. That's like my problem now. Like I don't think
I don't know how old you are, but we ruined it for the kids below us because we kind of got babied. You know, we started. Everyone gets a trophy and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm 26, so I mean,
I'm 27.
Oh, gee, I thought you were like 30, man. You've accomplished so much. Jesus.
I turned 28 in August, so there you go.
Do you feel old?
No, I don't.
So comics, I really love hearing their perspectives, like outside of comedy when they're just talking candidly on podcasts and stuff about like their family dreams and like having kids and all that, because it usually mirrors like how I feel about it. Like, do you think about how difficult it would be to like raise kids now with like the internet existing and all that stuff? Like how much disciplining you should do? I can't talk.
I think it would be fun to raise a kid now.
Fun?
You know? Yeah, absolutely, because you don't have to do that much parenting. Everything, you just throw stuff in front of them. There's a TV, there's an iPad, there's play with that, play with this, and then that object teaches the kid. Like, I've learned so much outside of school just by Googling things.
Oh, that is true.
And Wikipedia things. Like, I've learned so much on my own with a computer than I did of 14 years of schooling, you know. And I've done that more within the past 2 years than anything. I think it would be fun to I think the dangers, which is letting kids know that the internet doesn't really exist.
It doesn't exist?
Kids, it doesn't exist.
That's news to me.
It's a means of communication and passing data, but it doesn't really exist.
Why do we talk about it then in terms of places like you go to Skype, you go to Twitter, and it feels like you're this is gonna sound weird, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Where like you're in your home screen of your phone, and then you go to Twitter. It feels like some part of your brain, I think, feels like it's moving.
Yeah, I mean, it exists. It does exist in us now mentally, because I find myself even now. I'm on Facebook, see what's going on. It's part of my daily life. But I mean, it doesn't exist in the sense that you should kill yourself. There's kids now killing themselves from bullying. I mean, like it doesn't exist. And they go like, you can get over it. You can close your laptop, and there's the real world.
But that's what happens. I mean,
but people think it's real. They think that it's part of their daily lives. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not real. It's you can turn it off.
But here's what
you can't snap out of life though.
Here's what messes with me though is I think a lot about generation gaps and what causes people to become old, and at what point are we going to be like, holy shit, we're the old crotchety men? And what if their understanding of the internet, these kids, like they really do think it's real? And what if they start making it a real thing?
I mean, it is going to become a real thing. I was watching like Colbert Report, and he had like a guest that was the co-founder of the internet.
I don't.
Which I was like,
I don't
what?
buy this.
I don't buy it either, but he sounded legit.
I did it. I made it. Yeah, it was me, John.
He
John
looked.
Internet.
He looked. He looked exactly like the guy in the Matrix. White beard. I'm not joking. So it seemed legit. And he was talking about how they created the internet in 1973, which doesn't even sound real, like, you know, but it's real. Like, the internet they only use it through military farms as passing data and for storage. It's a lot more efficient than humans in keeping, like, you know, shelves and files of that stuff. So they created the internet as a filing system and passing data. And then they utilized it from 73 all the way up to like 83 to where it became more, what's the word to use here, domesticated or more open to the public. And that was at the same time, they were talking about how the cell phone was created at the same time as they were creating the internet, and how they both were module, like how they both combined together. And now, like, laptops, we're probably not going to need those anymore. We're probably just going to walk around with our phones and you can do everything on it.
That's my theory, yeah.
And it's pretty cool. It's like we're just walking around with a piece of technology, living off of it. It becomes our heart. We're holding our heart.
I keep thinking that we're gonna try and figure out some way to get it into our heads physically, so that it is.
I mean, they're already trying to put it on our face with Google Glass.
I've been wondering too, like, what if Google is the evil empire, but we just don't know it because, like, it's like, we're gonna help you. Like, you don't know how to get to the store? Come to us. Yeah. Like, you don't know who Rasputin is? Come ask me. Like, I'm your dad. I'm Google. Like, I know everything that's good for you. And sure enough, you go to it for everything.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on at Google.
And they seem really nice, and that's the other thing. They're so conscious about the environment, and like their employees get like unlimited vacation off, and like they let you exercise in their offices, and it's so good.
What do they do there? I mean, what do you do at Google?
They say you come up with ideas, help us make new shit. I don't know. It seems like their ultimate goal seems to turn everything into data. I mean, they want to store knowledge, allow you to find anything.
Which is sad because it means everything that ever happened will always exist. You know, before you just had memory,
right?
And you would forget it, and then never existed again.
But memory's kind of faulty, even. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, memories are cool at everything. It's a weird phrase to say. Memories are cool and everything, but like your memory of what happened to you on this day when you were 6 is probably not what really happened.
It's not accurate at all.
And it degrades just like hard drives do, which is it's also weird. Like the things we create to store memory, to store data is similar.
Yeah.
To, but I don't.
Well, that's what that guy was saying about like the problem with because Colbert was asking about, you know, will computers take over like anyone else would ask the co-founder of the internet, and he was saying that the only thing that he's afraid of is if the computers start getting data wrong, like humans, like how we remember things.
Yeah.
If computers start fucking up, then it's a problem. That's when chaos will ensue. And I was like, well, if computers start fucking up, we're all fucked.
Because we depend so heavily on them. And I mean, I wonder if our faulty data is because of emotions or it's just natural. Like you can't control the fact that you can't remember everything. It's like if your dad yells at you.
I do remember everything. It's just misplaced in my mind somewhere. You know, I think I really remember everything, but I just every now and then, like, yeah. Imagine like, you know how you have like 5 cents flashback, like you smell Elmer's glue and then you flash back to a day in kindergarten or something. Yeah. That's a memory you had in your head that you didn't even know, but something sparked it. So I think I do remember almost everything. To consciousness now. If I'm out drunk one night or something, I won't remember that, of course. But and if I was not in a, because I do remember I was a very spacey kid. Like I'll just space out.
Yeah.
Like so I know there's a lot of my childhood I don't remember just because I was a spacey.
It's like what was happening in those moments? You just went somewhere.
Yeah, and you're just sitting there just waving your arms back and forth for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
And that's my moment as a kid. I'm like, I just missed something in life because I was too busy just, flinging my arms back and forth.
God, I spaced out a lot too. I mean, I think kids get diagnosed with ADD and stuff like that when they do that now. I think we were able to almost get away with it. Like I drew a lot in class, always like making comics and stuff like that, and I would
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
and I think it was cool back then a little bit. Like some of my teachers would like bitch at me about it, but I think now parents would probably get like the whole ADHD talk and all that stuff. I don't even know what that's all about.
I mean, if I was telling someone, we had a lot of sugar as kids.
Yeah.
There was a lot of sugar happening. I mean, sugar is like drugs for kids. And I was thinking, I remember the drink Surge.
Surge, yeah. That shit's off.
They took it off the shelf. That was a real thing. And
was it really that bad? It didn't taste any different from other shit.
It was basically the first energy drink.
Was it? It was basically like, you got to remind me. Was it like Mountain Dew on crack?
It was like Mountain Dew, but it was more extreme. That was the whole thing. Like, they basically gave us a Mountain Dew energy drink. That's what it was, and they didn't know at the time. And then kids are just, hearts beating through their chests.
It's like, oh, I gotta do extreme shit. Oh.
Because it was for kids. It wasn't even for teenagers. It was like, I guess for teenagers and kids. It wasn't even for adults.
Oh man.
But I used to eat candy all the time when I was a kid.
I used to do Kool-Aid with the glass would be maybe 40% Kool-Aid, 40 to 50% sugar.
Jesus.
And the rest is water. Because
my sister used to do that all the time. I almost wanted to slap her. I was like, why do you put all that sugar in there?
Oh man. But all right, so what do you think the effect the internet has had on comedy so far? Because I've been thinking, like, all these podcasts are probably just garnering so much more interest in some kid in Idaho who just has no access to a comedy club or something, and he's listening to Joe Rogan and he's like, fuck, I could do this shit. Or they watch Kill Tony. Like, I don't know anything about developing joke material and becoming better, but I watch Kill Tony sometimes. I'm like, wow, you guys are giving out great advice and teaching people. Like, it's really a teaching tool. I mean, whether or not you guys are aware of that.
Yeah, I never am aware of that, and I'm always shy about giving out like suggestions and stuff. But that's what Kill Tony is basically what comics do in comedy clubs already. There'll be older comedians that they will watch a young comic, and if they liked him, like sometimes I'll watch some kid that's starting out, and if I kind of like him, and I would go back and say, hey, very funny, that one joke you had, hilarious, that other one, if you say it like this, it would be funny. Like, you do that just naturally, but with Kill Tony, he actually set it up that way to where you get a chance to, showcase it to the world. I mean, that's just a normal thing there. So that's the access you don't get if you were at a comedy club at the Comedy Store. You would get that and live just outside the club, but because you're not there, you get it through Kill Tony. Up in the belly room, someone in Idaho or someone in Michigan or someone in, wherever, they get an insight pretty much to how it's like at I'd say the Comedy Store is probably one of the best clubs in the world. I'm not kidding there, It's definitely one of the top-notch ones as far as talent is concerned.
So you recently sold a pilot. How does it work? Do they order episodes or something?
We went the hardest route possible to even getting to. Right now, we're just now going to shoot a pilot. What we shot in December was a pilot presentation. So we started with an idea, and we needed to get a production company. Then we had to meet with network executives. We had to come up with episode ideas, and then we had to write a pilot. And then months went by. Then we actually shot the pilot presentation. NBC kind of didn't want to pick up the show, and then Jerrod had a special, and he was in a movie, and NBC said, we kind of want to pick up the show.
Do you think that's sort of because they realized what they could get out of it, or that he had?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes. There's no doubt about that.
Isn't that kind of shitty though? Like shouldn't it just be on the merits of like it being a good program?
Well, you know what, and I can honestly say when they say no one knows what they're doing, it's true. We've been working on this thing since 2011, towards the end of 2011, going through the process of everything. And we've gone through 3 different network executives at NBC. They've gone through 3 top TV executives in 3 years. So you have new people coming in with their new take on the show, and then another person comes in there later. You know, it's like having 3 different, you know, coaches come in and to coach one quarterback. He's like, wait a minute, we did this different last year. Like, we're going to do it different this year. And NBC has just been bought by Comcast, so there's new people there all around.
They just fire executives and stuff?
Yeah, especially because they used to be, what were they before Comcast? Jesus Christ, can't believe I don't know what it is. But anyway, Comcast just bought them over, and they want to bring their own people in there. So yeah, people get fired all the time. More than often, you know, you'll be like, hey, what happened to that person? Like, oh, they got fired. Like, oh, okay.
Shit. So the plan now is to just, I mean, you're waiting for the production company then?
We have a production company.
Oh, okay.
We have everything. We just finished the first draft on our new pilot yesterday.
Can you see the drawing, by the way? Can you see anything?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh, I just got a congratulations. You have a match on Tinder.
Oh, you're on that shit?
Oh yeah.
I fucking hate online dating. I'm garbage at it. I think it's half because I don't get any results and half because like I think it's partly my fault and partly girls' fault. I mean, has it worked for you at all?
No.
Oh, fuck. You seemed so happy about it though.
Yeah, I know. It's just a fun thing. It's just Tinder is funny to me. It doesn't make any sense. I've been at a coffee shop a couple of times at Starbucks or something, and I've been beside Tinder dates, and it's the most awkward.
Wait, how do you know?
Because they say, hey, you know, I
can't believe you met on Tinder.
Yeah. I don't yell it out to the public. But they talk about it, and it is the most awkward date ever because what happens is you have these 2 complete strangers who know nothing about each other, sitting there getting to know each other, realizing that they don't like each other.
Oh, shit.
And
you're sitting there listening, writing all this down.
Yeah.
It is weird.
I think it's more of an ego thing. You just want people to be matched up with you. It's like going out. You want people to. Like I told someone, it's like I like it when girls hit on me. Like it's like it's not because I want to like have sex with them immediately. I want to, of course, but even to have acknowledgement from a girl is amazing.
See, my theory is,
and that's what Tinder is. Like you love like matches. You know, you feel better.
I think girls benefit from that more on online dating. I think they get because when you're a girl, you get like 70 dudes messaging you a day. And that's if you're like if you're an average girl, you'd be probably you know, so like they get all of that instant sort of
gratification.
Right. It's like these guys sort of like you. I don't know, but it still seems like people are kind of unhappy. I don't think it's really solved the human loneliness problem quite yet.
Oh, not at all.
I don't know.
People are very lonely. It happens to me a lot where strangers will just talk to me. And I was like, why are you talking to me? But I'm like a very approachable person, but I was like, you're really lonely to just talk to me, a stranger?
But you got now here's the thing. It's always like an old person, right?
Yes, it always is. Yes, old people love talking to me, one. And foreigners. People not from this country like talking to me. And it doesn't matter what part, just outside of the United States. Indians, French people, Russians.
They probably think
I don't know why.
They think you're one of their.
I look like a guy who wouldn't get mad if you ask a dumb question. That's what it is.
Yeah, no one talks to me, and it's never a really attractive girl that you like just talking to you out of nowhere. And if it is, I think there's something wrong with them. I look at her, I'm like, what the hell's like? Why are you doing this? Like, you're probably crazy. That's shitty, right? Like,
no, don't think that way. I used to think that way. I used to be very cynical about everything.
Aren't most comics kind of cynical?
Who?
Aren't most comics kind of cynical?
Yeah, but I don't want to be most comics. I want to be me. So it was something I worked on personally myself. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take everything for what it is. Even if someone is being sarcastic, I'm going to take it truthfully. So, joke's on them. But I used to be very cynical.
Then everything changed.
And then I took mushrooms. Actually, that's what happened.
Yeah, one of Ari Shaffir's things, right? Shroom Fest.
Yeah, I don't think Ari wants to do shrooms with me anymore because I freaked out twice in front of him.
Oh, gee, that's me. Like, probably 2/3 of the time I smoke weed, and I haven't done anything else. I quit recently. Oh, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I quit recently because of that. It was too much freaking out. I couldn't control myself.
Oh yeah, if you haven't
What did you? I
problems
mean,
with anything, don't stop it. You know,
what were you? What happened during your freak out?
we were camping. I don't like camping. That was the only problem.
Oh, okay. So that sort of sparked it all, you think?
Yeah, and I kept telling them that I don't like camping. They're like, "No, you're gonna do mushrooms. You need to be out in nature." I'm like, I don't, I've never been a nature guy.
Yeah.
And then of course, like we're gonna sleep outside the whole night. No, thank you.
Oh shit. Everybody, follow Willie on Twitter. While there's this dead air and I'm drawing, go follow him. Where can people find you?
It's at Will Hunter Show. WILLHUNTER show.
Speaking of your show, I mean, what's up?
I think I'm in the making. I'm going to try to have another one on August 31st, a birthday show. It's my birthday, so
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna have one big mega show, maybe a best of. I'm gonna have like 3 or 4 pretty big guests. It's in the making right now. I can't make any promises, so don't. People will get upset because I don't have them regularly, but
Yeah.
it's a difficult show to produce. Even though it looks very simple, it's very hard to get comics to show up on time, to write the material, to produce the material, to get the crew there. It's all that on no budget too, might I add.
Why the commercials, the skits? Like you made it a point to have these breaks where you have these sketches and skits and all that stuff.
That was the other guy who's he's my producer, and I like to give him. He's not really the creator, but I give him co-creator. It's not Earl.
Okay.
His name's Andrew Thimulus. Earl's my co-host.
Oh, right.
His name's Andrew Thimulus. He wanted to do fake commercials, and I said that'd be great. And he wrote all those commercials. I didn't. I think I came up with one of them, but the rest of them he did. My favorite one is Johnny Scortis with this, the cigarette commercial. I thought that was beautiful.
The Greek dude.
Yeah.
He's so
very
weird.
funny.
Yeah. So do you go on the road a lot? Like, have you, or are you staying in LA mostly?
I'm mostly in LA.
Right, because I follow you on Twitter, and you're not talking about going and doing dates in New York and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of going on the road. I do road gigs, but small stuff, nothing crazy. I mean, who am I to say if some big comedian say, "Hey, go on the road with me"? I mean, I would go, of course, but I'm not trying to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I got some gigs with Pauly Shore.
Oh, cool.
So that should be a lot of fun.
In LA, or are you going to travel for it?
Well, we're going to go to Long Beach and Thousand Oaks, so that's not really going on the road. It's like down the street from LA, pretty much.
Make it like a camping trip.
One of them's going to be with Matt Egger, and one's going to be with Sandy Danto, so looking forward to all of that.
I don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
What
other podcasts do you listen to besides Kill Tony?
Shit. Joe Rogan, of course. You know what, dude? I like the Church of What's Happening Now. I'm naming a lot of Death Squad related stuff. Beige Phillips Show. Have you ever heard of that?
I don't
Dante
think so.
Nero. he used to hang with Patrice a lot way back.
Oh.
Paige Phillips show. Juan Epstein. Do you know Juan Epstein?
No, I don't.
From Hot 97, like these two.
Really? Oh, I know Hot 97.
Yeah,
There's always a Hot 97.
That's great. 97s are hot. What do you listen to?
You know what? I mean, I don't listen to really anything new. I'm so out of. I saw that Fancy video for the first time yesterday, and it was lame. It was a horrible music video. You know what that music video made me want to see Gossip Folks. It made me look at a Missy Elliott music video. I was like, that's how it's.
Are you one of the Iggy haters?
I'm not.
Because that's the popular thing now.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
You know what? Put me in that group then. I'm an Iggy hater.
Jesus.
I think she's a man.
I know you're not the type to just say these things. So I mean, like, do you really hate her though? Like, you don't. Like
I don't hate her. No, I don't hate her at all. I'm just not impressed. That's it.
I know she's. The funny thing about female rappers is it's like, it seems like they can't survive without the sexualization, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
Unless you're Missy Elliott, like she fucking like owned it, and she didn't.
I know.
But like we will never. I don't think we'll ever have that again. But like everyone accepts.
I think we can. It just takes a few women to just be. Every time I talk to like a female comic, and there's a lot of female comics that do that has to get sexual, and I'm like, you don't have to do that.
Well, like,
Chelsea Peretti doesn't do that, and she's amazing. You know.
Oh yeah, man, she is awesome. I like those two. The two girls you have on Kill Tony, like I forgot their names. Damn.
Sarah Weinschenk and Kimberly Congdon.
Yeah, they kill. I think they're awesome.
Yeah. I remember when they first started.
I guess there's a lot of pressure, like to sort of connect with males on that level, or something.
You know what? I think that's their problem, is they think that there is, but there isn't. A connection of any kind is a connection. It doesn't matter if it's man or woman. If you have a thought that is universally everyone thinks about, we're all aboard. Regardless of how silly and, whatever it is. So I don't think, like, I just remember I was talking to a female comic, and I was like, you know what? I want a female comic that talks about women stuff, like, I don't know anything about women. And because she was talking about birth control, and I was like, "What do you do with that birth control? You just pop a pill. You just pop a pill in if you feel like you're gonna get some that night." And she goes, "No, you have to take them every day." I said, "Even if you're not gonna have sex?" She said, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, I'll be damned. The more you know."
Yeah, learn about that. I learned the other day they have period tracking apps. Did you know about this?
No.
So the girl takes this app. And I knew, because this girl I've been messing around with, we just had sex, and she was like, hang on. She got her phone out, and then she plugged it in to her phone so that it would know. It asks you, when were you last intimate? And based on that, it tells you when your next period is going to be.
Wow.
They do this shit. Yeah,
hey,
and then the phone tells you.
That's a great app. I wonder who came up with that.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Probably some man. I'm kidding.
It's like, I gotta know. He has it all the period database. He's just tracking all the periods in the world. It's his diabolical plan. Yeah, but I see what you mean, though. There's so much stuff that we don't know.
Yeah, and I've listened to it. I mean, you don't have to talk about periods all the time, but just talk about, like, your psyche. I mean, Whitney Cummings does that a little bit, but she doesn't do it enough for my liking. She still tries to compare man and woman. I don't want you to compare the two. I just want you to just talk about woman.
The comparison stuff seems to do really well, or it's kind of a go-to, right? Like, black people are like this, and white people are like... I think that it's going out of style, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, that's so great.
It is. Like, even, like, I'm nothing against Chris Rock. He's a phenomenal comedian, one of the best of all time. But even people are now listening to him to do race jokes. They're like, you ain't got anything else? Like,
yeah.
What else you been working on?
I guess we just get so much of it. I used to watch a lot of Comic View. That was what I
me too. I watched a lot. When I watched Comic View, I didn't want to be a comedian. Because I thought, well, if that's the comedian, I don't want to do that. I mean, I thought it was funny, but I didn't want to go on stage and act like an idiot.
Yeah. So you guys call those like act outs, pretty much, like.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah,
humping the stool, like throwing water everywhere. You gotta scream.
Yeah, I love doing that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Deep down in my heart, I am a nigga. Deep down.
Somewhere that's buried inside of there.
I love doing this, but I don't want to do it in front of people. I don't want to do it in front of white people. There you go. Like I want to be like introspective and smart in front of white people. So it's like I like that.
Do you feel this pressure that you have to like? I mean, I feel this like sometimes when I'm talking to white people, and I don't know why it's been happening to me for like the past few years. I get this feeling in my head that like I really am representing a whole group. Like they're gonna judge everyone based on me.
I don't care anymore. I'm just Willie now. One time I got off stage and I hosted the show because I host the potluck at the Comedy Store a lot. And I got done hosting 4 hours of hosting that show, and some old white lady came up to me and said, "By the way, I want to tell you you're wonderful. And when I look at you, I see no color at all."
Oh my god!
And I was like, "Oh man, that's the greatest compliment of all time."
I see no color.
I transcend race. That's what she said, basically.
Tell you, little feller. Usually,
that's like a level of like stardom where you're like Michael Jackson level.
Yeah, Will Smith reached that level too.
You think so?
Yeah, because I don't know who was saying this, but like he can sell movies in Thailand, and they don't see him as black.
Yeah,
like they just see him as a dude. He's right up there with Tom Cruise or some shit.
Yeah,
and I mean,
yeah.
And who else is there? I mean, who's the first guy you mentioned?
God, who did I mention? I was talking about Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Michael Jackson and
Michael Jackson changed his face like 5 times, and we didn't care.
He could get away with touching kids in bed, and people defended him up and down.
We didn't care.
And I mean, even if it wasn't sexual, he was doing it. He said that he was touching kids.
I don't think it was sexual, but I was telling Jerrod that I said, he was fucked up in the mind. He thought he was a kid, so he would just do kid stuff.
That's what like.
And I remember being a kid. I remember playing around the playgrounds, and one of the kids pulled down another kid's pants. You're like, oh, look at his little pee-pee, whatever.
Right.
And that's fun if you're all 6 years old.
He's like fucking.
But Michael was 38 years old.
Yeah.
And they're like, Michael, you can't just flop your dick out like that. What are you doing?
And he's like, no, you're making it
I've read
sexual.
some books where he would do stuff like that. He would say that to kids. He would go like, I gotta go masturbate, otherwise I...
Oh, shit. Your audio cut out at the worst time. Jesus. There's some comedic value here. All right. Yeah, it got cut off at a really funny moment. I think we were talking about Michael Jackson telling kids he jerked off.
That was Michael Jackson cutting me off.
Yeah, his ghost.
Like, that's enough.
Don't say that shit. That's not good. That's sexual.
But yeah, that's creepy. It's really creepy, actually. And I think he's another one of those guys. We'll never see another one of him either.
Yeah, I have like a Michael Jackson obsession. I watch him live all the time on YouTube.
Just for the music, or just his like who he
performance.
was?
I think he's one of the greatest performers of all time.
Who's up there with him, you think?
Performers, as for my taste, my thing is like I can just watch them perform. Michael Jackson. I can watch Richard Pryor on stage for however long he wants to be up there, and I would laugh the whole time.
I wish he was alive in the podcasting era. I wish he had like the Richard Pryor podcast. Can you imagine how cool that would be?
Oh yeah,
that'd be sick.
It'd be hilarious.
And if it followed his actual timeline, he would talk about like the drug use and like the ups and downs, and you could follow it through the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fucking crazy. Yeah, I guess things were... He really did change comedy all on his own. All right, we're coming towards the end of this this episode, and this drawing I think is passable.
It's passable. That's what you said.
Yeah.
I think it looks good.
Thanks. Like I said, I usually have an hour to do these things. This is the first time I've been doing this live. You're watching this live, everybody.
And that's great for live. People need to understand how good that is live.
Thank you. While simultaneously trying not to shut my brain off and not talk, which is... It's weird how your brain works when you're drawing. Okay. Pop one of those eyeballs there. Please tell people, Willie, where they can find your shows, where they can find you on Twitter, your show dates, all that stuff.
I perform almost every other night at the world famous Comedy Store in Hollywood. If you want to come and see me perform any night, just mention my name at the door. I get you free admission.
Whoa,
you just have a 2-drink minimum. Yeah, I can do that for you. I have connects there. My name's on that wall now.
Damn, son.
That's right. So if you're in the area, just hit me up on Twitter at Will Hunter Show. Again, Will Hunter Show. We'll make it happen. I also perform at the La Jolla Comedy Store a lot. I'm going to be at Long Beach the 25th with Pauly Shore. I'm going to be at Thousand Oaks, I think August 15th with Pauly Shore. And I'll have some random stuff in between. And possibly the Willie Hunter Show will return August 31st.
Sick.
And we'll update people with that too.
Awesome. Willie, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been awesome talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me, man.